Hey, hey, hey. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Pause. I'm Doug Meyer. Every week we do this little thing where we sit down and we talk about stuff. Life stuff, easy stuff, hard stuff. And hopefully it's something that kind of pokes you a little bit in the mind or the ribs and makes you think. So the other day I heard somebody, in referencing another individual I knew, that they said something like, well, I guess he just lost his way. I guess he just lost his way. They were kind of just reflecting on this person's situation at the moment. And it got me to thinking about that whole notion of lost your way and getting lost and whose way is the right way and all that kind of mess. And so here's just some kind of rambling observations this morning that I think might hold true for some of us. You know, it's pretty hard nowadays to get lost physically. Most all of us have one of these attached somewhere to our being, or at least very close by. And it's set up with all sorts of GPS-y kind of stuff, or Waze, or Google Maps, or you name it. And, you know, all you really have to know is kind of where you're going and tell it, and it will find you the way. Waze will help you find, especially if you live in an urban setting, the quickest route there to avoid construction and traffic and so forth and so on. So getting lost or not finding your way is more just a temporary inconvenience, something that you missed a turn or you put the address in wrong, so forth and so on. But it's my observation that losing our way is a whole lot easier. If it was just as easy as putting kind of our life destination in a GPS, I don't know, that might be kind of cool. So think with me for a minute on the whole notion of losing your way. And what does that mean to you? And when you hear that phrase, losing your way, well, that assumes that you don't know, maybe does it assume you don't know where you're going, or you changed your mind? It didn't have doesn't have the appeal that it did at one time. So I go back to thinking about, well, how do I even decide my way in the first place, right? I think a lot of that's about destination and where do I want to end up? And, you know, that old phrase, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to fill in the blank? It seems to me that there are more choices nowadays. It used to be that you kind of just stepped into this lane. Maybe it's just that the lanes are more narrow or wider now. We're more narrow back then. And it was about, well, I just think I'll go and I'll be a blank, and I will do this on my way. I will go to college or not. I'll go to trade school. Maybe I'll get married. Maybe I'll have kids. Maybe I'll live in the suburbs and blah, 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 blah. I like that there is a lot more boldness nowadays, and people go, nah, I don't think I'm going to do that. So there's a bit of a not accepting the way that other people might assume. So therein kind of pushes us to have to think a little harder about what's our way. There used to be, it seemed like even more rules, if you would, unspoken rules and expectations about what is a good way or a right way. Don't you love those words, good and right? Who gets to decide what is good and right? So in the midst of all that, off we go, and we change our minds. Or the destination changes, or you know, we discover it really wasn't all that in the first place. There's an interesting quote by a guy named H.G. Wells. He says, losing your way on a journey is unfortunate, but losing your reason for the journey is a fate more cruel. You know, at first I kind of was drawn to that, but I'm not so sure anymore that losing your reason for the journey is such a bad thing. Is it ever too late to change your mind on where you're going? Is it ever too late to do a course correct? You know, I know some friends of mine who recently have retired, and about a year into it went, well, this sucks. I don't want to be retired. This isn't turning out like I thought it would be, so they unretired and they went back to work or focused on something that kind of took them to a different place. So the question for us is really kind of simple this morning. How's it going on the path you're on? Do you need to get off the path for a while? Just take a break. Find a bench. Man, sit down and just chill and think about what What was motivating you to go where you were going in the first place? Were you fulfilling somebody else's destination? Were you going somewhere else, somewhere that somebody else thought you ought to go, and you were resenting the hell out of it? So do kind of what you do if you physically get lost. Maybe sit down and talk to somebody about some new directions. Maybe just pull over for a while. You know, some people I know, mostly guys, just are really proud and are stupid about not asking for directions. And the same applies to not asking for help and not sitting down and practicing what we call the V word, vulnerability, because it implies that maybe they made a mistake. Well, I think just the opposite's true. I think they were having a moment of courage and brilliance to sit down and stop and go, man, I'm not going to keep driving in a direction that I'm not even happy about or don't even know where the hell I'm going. Stop, 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 stop. Let's change the paradigm a little bit this morning and applaud those who, in the midst of going their way, recognize they've lost their way, and that lost is not a bad thing. Lost can be really the path to being found. Ooh, maybe it's finding a whole new way, a whole new meaning, a whole new inner peace and joy. So I'd be curious to hear about your journey. And is the destination or the pathway all that you thought it would be? Have you ever done a course correct? Maybe you've wadded up the map and tossed it. Maybe you put in a whole new destination. Share with us in the comment box here how that's working out for you, would you? And as always, if you get a little something out of today, share it with a friend. And anyway, till next time. Oh, man, let's take a breath and give thanks. Here we are on this journey. Some people call it life. Some people just call it Thursday. God be with us as we go our way. Help us when we can to travel a worn path, and where we have the courage just to break out the machete and chop our way through. Thanks. Amen. Anyway, everybody take care. Bye.